Hi there and welcome back. In today's video we're going to use this lovely tea light mould, although you could use it as a trinket tray, nice little pot, somewhere to put all your little bits and pieces, knickknacks and so on. So inspired, the colours I'm going to use today are inspired by a friend called Leona, who is actually a nail technician and loves pinks and silvers and whites. So we just mixed up some clear resin. And to that we're going to add some of this lovely imitation silver leaf. Up to you how you add it. I'm going to add it to a small amount of resin in one of these little mini mixing cups. Oh, okay, a massive chunk of imitation silver leaf. It will break down. I'm just going to separate it out a bit. It's just a tiny bit too much there. So yeah, just going to add it in. Up to you if you use tweezers or just your hands to hold it in, and then there we go, just pressing it down into the resin just underneath the surface of it, just making sure that it's all completely coated. There we go, stirring it up, and we're going to use some of this lovely, it's like a baby pink mica powder, and you just watch how it goes when you drop it into the resin. So that lovely sparkle, nice bit of sparkle, nice bit of glitteriness, beautiful pinks, and there we go. So it's just going to disperse into the resin. We'd already stirred it up. This jar, you don't need to see me stirring lots and lots of resin. So we mixed it up thoroughly into the resin, and then you can see the true beauty of this colour there. Also going to use this beautiful colour, which is, of course, is a polar white. And it's by Vista, so we're going to add a good splodging of this, splodging, such a term, probably, into this lovely clear resin. Here we go. Ooh, a little bit of a problem there with a nozzle on it. There we are. So as you can see, it sinks because it's quite heavy. This is the way it just disappears into the resin and then almost poofs out again. So stirred it all up thoroughly, mixing it. Almost looks like white paint at this point. It is opaque, so you won't be able to see through the white. There we go. So that's it, just coming there. So at this point, what we've done is we've already poured some of this beautiful silver leaf and resin on to the mould. That will work its way down to the bottom of the mould, which of course is the top because the moulds are in reverse. And we're just adding in some of this lovely pink. And then also some of, we're just getting a bit of squidge to help the resin down, and then some of the white onto the top, so it just pushes it down. So what we're doing here is we're just layering the colours, the pink and the white together, and that's what we will do till we completely fill the mould, which is what you've seen here. Now I'm doing, I don't know what the technique is, I don't know if it's a drops swirl technique, I'm not sure, but you're taking a mini stir stick or lollipop stick and you're just putting it down inside the mould, almost like scoop it up and swirl, scoop it up and swirl, and then scoop it up and swirl. So it helps all the resin to mix but without over mixing it. So here we go. So, and as you can see, by doing this, I've actually found where there was probably some air, some bubbles and so on, or just being a little bit mucky there too. A few little air bubbles, and so it does need a little bit more of a top up, which I will do. And there we go. We're just going to give it a squidge and a squish and a squidge and a squish. Carefully do this, obviously, because it's very easy for the resin to overflow and go down the side of the mould. There we go. And I think, yeah, that will, fingers crossed, do the trick. Just dropping it a little bit very carefully onto the surface, onto the working area surface. Just making sure that it is all as it should be. And then just topping up the last bit, as I said, with some of the beautiful pinky colour, which looks almost corally actually, compared to the colour of the mica powder. So just swirling it there on the top to get it to mix with the rest of the resin. You can still see some of the differential of the lines there of the different colours of resin. Now, as per usual, had resin left over. So I got one of these beautiful puffy heart moulds and just started layering the colours in. So again, same thing, white, and then this lovely pink, and then the white, and then the pink. Unfortunately, we didn't have any of the silver leaf resin mix left, so it is just whites and pinks with this particular mould. So we're just going to continue to fill it up, creating the layers like we did for the other mould until we get to the top. There we go. I'm just showing you the full process for this. By all means, you know, fast forward if you want to. There we go. Carefully. I didn't realise I'd made this much too much resin. So I do really need to try and pay attention a bit more as to how much resin I need for things, but it's always a good idea to have these little moulds left over. So then in this clip here you can see 2 flower pendant moulds and a skull mould. Now in all honesty, I cannot remember when I was filming this if I did actually fill up the skull mould, so yeah. Apologies, it's in shot, but I know I definitely did these 2 beautiful flowers. Yeah, so there we go. We're just layering the colours. You never know quite how resin's going to behave in moulds. You can always hope for certain effects to be what you have in your final piece. But yeah, it's always just a little bit difficult trying to gauge how they're going to be. With these moulds, because they are quite heavily detailed with the petals, it is a good idea just to do what I'm doing there, and just to push the resin down, because at this point as well, the resin was getting quite thick. So it was almost at the point where it was at the end of its work time. So I was getting a bit concerned that I might have it flash curing in the jugs or the little mixing cups that I'd got it. So just finishing topping up the moulds here with some more of the pink. There we go. In that one, the beautiful rose, and then the other one, which is this one here, which is more like a chrysanthemum. And again, using this, well, this is one of my favourite tools at the moment. So it's got a little rounded pokey end bit, which is metal. It's like a little ball. I think you can use it for doing dotting if anybody does dotting, painting. And the other end of it has got a silicone tip to it, which is also very good for moving resin around in moulds, coaster moulds and things like that around the edges. So yeah, as you can see, I'm just trying to push the resin into all the details, making sure that we don't get any little trapped air bubbles. There we go. And as you can see, what it's done is it's done the same job as the drop swirl technique in the bigger pot, where it's mixed up the resin, the 2 colours of the resin. So here we are, just going into the larger mould, the one that I think is a chrysanthemum, and just making sure that all the little individual bits of detail of the petals in the mould are all coated in the resin and that there are no air bubbles. So there we are, just dotting. Oh, and doing a little bit of a swirl, because you know I like a swirl and a swizzle. Swirling and a swizzling. There we go. As one of our viewers said, it reminded her that term of when her mother worked in a wine bar or cocktail bar and she used to have swizzle sticks. Anywho, I digress. So we're almost at the end of this video now. Thank you if you've watched so far to here. There's no demold on this video, so all there is a bit at the end where we're showing you the finished article. The heart has actually been created into a keychain, or here we go, here's the heart now, created into a keychain, and on the back of it, which we'll show you in a second, we've put in some bit of UV resin with a little bit of iridescent glitter. Hopefully there you can see it there. So yeah, and thanks again to Leona for the inspiration for this and beautiful colours, and also for my lovely nails, as you can see there, that she did for me recently. There we go, here we are, here's the finished bit. Thanks again everybody. We'll see you again soon with another video. Like, share and subscribe.